Hey everybody, what's going on, and welcome to another edition of May the Force Be With Who. This is going to be the review for War for the Planet of the Apes. Now, I went back and I did a refresher course because I wasn't I'd only seen the previous two films once, and I had fallen asleep during Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. So I went back and I bought the 2-pack for like $10 and watched them again, and was actually like, they're not bad flicks. So yeah, War for the Planet of the Apes. Got this really cool poster of Caesar. Ape together, strong. And I'm gonna say, this was probably the best movie of the bunch. The CGI in the film is incredible. It was especially very noticeable when they do close-ups of the orangutan Maurice, that you can really see just like the hair on his face and like the wet monkey fur, the wet ape fur. It's just, the CGI is awesome. But this story kind of picks up, whereas Dawn of the Planet of the Apes was kind of the story of like Caesar discovering his place with like his human family with James Franco and John Lithgow, and then his ape family when he liberated and made the rest of the apes smart with the AL-113 drug or whatever, and they escaped into the forest. And then whereas Dawn of the Planet of the Apes kind of dealt with the trust and the conflict issues between apes and humans, and then with Koba kind of turning on Caesar and attacking the humans and getting this whole war started between the humans and the apes. Well, War for the Planet of the Apes, it's a war film, and it basically deals with kind of the effects of war on definitely the apes, and then we see it later, the effects that the war is having on the human characters. But from the jump, we get to see some action between the apes and the humans. And yes, sorry, I had this pointed out from a friend of mine, spoilers, or as River Song would say, spoilers. Anyway, so the apes are attacked in their home in the forest, and Caesar loses his oldest son, Blue Eyes, and his wife, and he to this colonel played by Woody Harrelson, who they have jokingly referred to Caesar as the big target. They call him King Kong, and they think they've assassinated Caesar, which is gonna totally mess up everything with the apes. And he's actually killed Blue Eyes, his son, and his wife. So Caesar is on a rampage. Caesar wants revenge against the colonel, and he sends the rest of the apes, the surviving apes, to this desert that they found, which I guess is somewhere in Nevada or something, since normally I think the forest was the redwood forest in the other movie, so I guess they're somewhere in like California. So he's like sending them to the desert to get away from the humans, and he's on a one ape mission of revenge against Woody Harrelson and the military, which is the surviving military forces. And he's joined by Maurice, the orangutan, Rocket, and what was the other one? Luca. Luca was the big ape. They go with him, and on the way they encounter a girl who's a mute. They end up naming her Nova, which has ties to the original Planet of the Apes film way back in the 60s with Charlton Heston. But anyway, moving on, it turns out that Woody Harrelson's character, the Colonel, is a rogue military. His branch of his armed forces, they're kind of split off from the rest of what's left of mankind's military force because they're brutal, and the virus, the simian flu that had developed in the Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, has mutated, and it's kind of de-evolving humanity to where they can't speak, and they're losing brain activity, and they're almost becoming savages. So when that happens to anybody under Woody Harrelson's command, he executes them. And Caesar and his fellow apes that are on this quest, they discover some of the executed soldiers, and it just leads to probably one of them, with the exception of probably the death scene in Logan and the Wonder Woman crossing the battlefront scene, probably one of the strongest scenes I've seen in a film this year. That when we have our first encounter with Woody Harrelson's Colonel and Caesar, and Woody Harrelson is describing his tactics and why he is the way he is, and especially involving Woody Harrelson's son and what he had to do to him, the reaction from the CGI character of Caesar is just so, it's powerful and it's moving, because you're sitting there thinking, this is a CGI character, and you're seeing a range of emotion from just sorrow and then rage, and it's just this whole mix, and the tears and the anger that are coming from Caesar. I mean, it's moving, and it's awesome, and it's probably one of the reasons why everybody's kind of really making this push for Andy Serkis to get recognized by the Academy for a motion capture performance, because it's powerful. It's very powerful, and you understand some of the motivations behind Woody Harrelson's character, but you also understand that he's a cold bastard, and it just kind of really underlines Caesar's, like, he's gonna get revenge for what he's done. And the apes are all captured, and there's some heavy slavery overtones, and even some religious iconic, because they end up like crucifying some of the apes, and it's some strong stuff. Now, there is a comedic element that's in these movies that hadn't been in the previous movies, with a character called Bad Ape, played by Steve Zahn, and I was very afraid, motion capture played by Steve Zahn, and I was very afraid that this character was going to get annoying, but they use him sparingly, so it's not that bad, and it works. It works a whole lot. And there is actually a great monkey slinging shit gag towards the end of the movie, leading to the apes' escape. That it's classic. Laugh out loud classic. The end confrontation between Woody Harrelson and Caesar is almost as powerful as their original confrontation emotionally, and the resolution works. If you're a fan of the Planet of the Apes films, or the recent batch of Planet of the Apes films, it really works and it makes sense. It's a really good movie. I'd say it's probably that it and Dawn of the Apes are probably the two best of the Apes trilogy, the new Apes trilogy. I'm gonna give it a solid 7.5. I thought the very end, how things end, was a little anticlimactic, considering how everything that Caesar had been through, and I was just kind of like, really? But other than that, I don't have anything negative to say about this film. I enjoyed it. The action's great, the CGI is incredible, and Andy Serkis is just amazing. So anyway, on personal note, League of Fools will be back at the Fairview Tavern next Saturday at 9 p.m. So anybody local to Western North Carolina, come and check us out. And once again, you can always find us at our YouTube channel, League of Fools at YouTube, and our Facebook page, which is League of Fools Band. And otherwise, don't be like Chris Jericho, because you just made the list. Alright, so that is going to wrap things up here. I've got to get to band practice for the show. Once again, there's going to be, oh yeah, by the way, this weekend is D23, so hopefully there will be some info coming out about The Last Jedi, maybe a behind the scenes spot like they did for The Force Awakens. I know they released some stuff yesterday for Star Wars Land at Disney, so, but if anything newsworthy comes out, I'll do a video. And once again, more to come on keywords Yankee Voodoo and Garden City. Alright, until then, keep on keeping on, and may the Force be with you.